Read it for me! What is the creepiest Ask Reddit thread you have come across? There's this one that I saw a while ago where it was Doctors of Reddit, what's the worst injury you've ever seen? Or something like that. I read a haunting story about a year-old girl who got her lips numbed at the dentist and chewed her entire bottom lip off. She had multiple surgeries to correct it. Ugh, my skin's just crawling thinking about it. And that guy whose balls just fell out. Excuse me? Lots of stories, many already covered by others, but I'll share this particular story with my legs crossed. Motorcyclist came in after someone left turned without checking. He had gone over the hood, slid, and somehow somersaulted, landing on his ass sitting up. He slid across the intersection mostly on his ass, getting serious road rash. Luckily, he was only a block from the hospital and ambulance. They packed him up and brought him to the ER. We ended up cutting off his chaps and jeans and began the cleanup of gravel and sand embedded in his thighs and ass when all of a sudden his testicles fell out of his scrotum. He had basically sandpapered a hole in his scrotum while skidding on his ass. The attending pauses, grabs a saline, irrigates scrotum and nuts, fondles them back into place while humming. I handed him some gauze to pick up the wound and smiled at the patient who was under a local. Then I went on break, went fetal, and dry heaved. Hold up, you can just pop them back in? Were they still attached? Have we gone beyond infection risk into some sort of certainty? Apparently you can. I assume they weren't just attached if they literally fell out of the scrotum. I don't know how the chance of infection in this state though. Nah, they were definitely still attached if the doctor just popped them back in like it was nothing. If they weren't attached, they'd be dead, dying, and something that you don't want inside of you. Okay, I hope you're prepared to teach a lady a little sex ed because this is a really dumb question and I learned nothing in high school biology. Am I right to assume this whole system is like, say, an eyeball if the eyelids were sealed shut, and so because the wound in the eyelid, the eyeball fell out of its socket? I'm having a real hard time picturing this traumatic story. Besides, I have no idea something like this was possible. There are no sockets. Balls are free floating. They're connected to the balls through the tubes. And they can even twist around each other, which can cause problems. If they were just put in the back in the tubes, they were probably still attached. There are no sockets. Balls are free floating. Oh, oops. I had some of those nut twists. It was like the bat to the balls for weeks. I knew a guy who had a testicle removed due to extreme torsion. This was in the military. We called him Corporal One Each. You would have 6 hours to untwist the nut before it choked itself and died. Twisticles are the worst. I think I now understand the word testicular torsion cards against humanity now. Thanks, I think. Incorrect. They are actually connected via various muscles that control the elevation and by proxy the temperature. Google the cremaster muscle, and that's why your scrotum goes from hanging low and free to hugging the body. And the tube you're talking about is referred to as the vas deferens, and the twisting is called testicular torsion. The male sexual anatomy is quite fascinating, and if anyone has further questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.